Hi, this is a video about how yoga and breathing can help with anxiety. It doesn't matter if you've never done any yoga before, these are techniques that I use as someone who's spent 40 odd years living with anxiety, and how I use different practices, yoga, breathing, really simple, to alleviate the symptoms, to recognize what's going on. So in my other video, I talk a little bit about how fear and stress affects the body and like where we feel that. And in this little series of videos, we're going to look at techniques to kind of cope with those. Really easy to follow along. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it to about 5 minutes each video, so it's really easy to do. So, as I mentioned before, when we feel fear, stress, anxiety, we feel it all up here. So I know I'm going through this at the moment, kind of catastrophizing in the future. I'm thinking, but this business that I've built up, oh, my family, there's like this massive sort of head exploding thing that happens where everything is kind of up here. And I know, because some of you have told me, I know that that's what you live with as well. So the first thing we're going to do is grounding. Sounds really simple, works really effectively. So whether you're sitting, whether you're standing, the first thing that you do is just bring your attention to the ground. And if possible, if you can, practice this at home with bare feet, because you've got loads of feedback, nerve endings from the soles of your feet that feed back up to your brain, which can really help you to feel safe, to feel connected. If we're off the ground, it's adding to that feeling of lifting, which is what we get anyway if we're like panicky. I don't know about you, but when you have that panicky feeling in the chest, it's like, so what we do is ground. So literally bring your attention to the ground, to your feet. If you can lift up your toes, spread them out. Even doing this movement with your hands as you exhale. Maybe notice where you're breathing and see if you can start to bring the breath down. So if you're breathing and it's all up here, take a breath in, and as you exhale, feel that energy down. Yeah? You can even move your hands, inhaling up, exhaling down. And if you get this panicky feeling, perhaps maybe while you're sitting on a bus or a train and it's not possible to bring your feet onto the ground, wherever you're sitting, wherever you're leaning back, have that same sensation of giving the weight down. So be aware of the sensations of whatever is touching the ground, whether the ground is a seat or the ground. And then have that idea that you're breathing from the ground, through your feet or through your bottom, through your back, up. And then as you exhale, you're breathing back down. That might sound a bit funny if you haven't done it before, but you can imagine your breath like just as a wave of energy. So as you inhale, you're breathing from the ground up, and then as you exhale, you're sending that energy, breathing back down to the ground. Inhaling from the ground, and then exhaling back down. And if it's helpful to you, bring your hands onto your belly and see if you can get the breath to move down there as well. So breathing in and breathing out. It's that idea of drawing the breath, bringing the energy down to the ground. And the second thing we can do, I've talked before about the effects of cortisol on chronic, too much cortisol in the system. Cortisol is not a bad thing to get you up in the morning, but if we've got too much of it because we're stressed, we're anxious, and we go into that sympathetic arousal, that fight or flight mode, but we don't actually have a fight or run away, we want to use up the cortisol somehow. We want to feel like we're kind of doing something. So the other thing that we can do in this grounding practice is tensing and releasing the thighs. Yeah. So when you tense up your thigh muscles, do as much as you can. Doesn't matter if you've got strong muscles or not, and then relax them. And then do it again. Tense up the thigh muscles. You can be sitting or standing, and then relax them. Do this a few more times, tensing up and releasing. So if you do this practice regularly, you won't not only get those strong thigh muscles, but you're using a lot of energy when you're doing this. So that compulsion that we have to run when we feel threatened, when we feel anxious, we can't always do that. You know, you're not necessarily going to be able to go for a run. You might be able to, but you might be stuck at home. So you're using up quite a lot of energy in those muscles, and you're also using those muscles that you would use to run away. So we're going to put all of those things together. We're going to have a sense of grounding. And if you practice this a little bit regularly, it will kick in when you need it, yeah, because it's regulating your body. So a sense of the feet on the ground, sense of the ground underneath you, a sense of breathing in from the ground up, and then back down to the ground. Inhaling up, and exhaling back down to the ground. And then start to add that tensing of the thighs. Tense the thighs, see if you can keep everything else relaxed, and then relax again. And then tense the thighs, and then relax again. It's quite tiring. Keep doing it, tensing up the thighs, and then relaxing. So these things work by you noticing for yourself whether anything feels different. So now that you've done this practice, notice any sensations down through your feet. Maybe notice any sensations down through your legs. Now perhaps notice if your breathing has changed. Again, regular practice, simple thing, will make a difference. Next time we're going to focus on just the breath and how we can put the grounding together with the breath. I hope to see you soon. Thank you.